A Chris Rock Saw movie? Are you fucking kidding? I'm sorry for the language. You can beep that out. As a Saw fan, want to see that movie.
You play it cool, but you're like, that's Samuel, fucking Jackson up there.
The question is, will my mother see this movie?
Chris Rock, good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Wow. Dude, this movie is something else. I saw it yesterday on my birthday. And thanks, man. This was my gift. I saw it with my mom, who likes scary movies. I'm a scaredy cat. We'll get that in a minute. But I know you're an executive producer on this movie. You star in it. Tell me what made Chris Rock decide, let's do another Saw movie.
I don't know. I bumped into the head of Lionsgate at a friend's wedding. And I don't know. I was like, Lionsgate, what do they make? There's probably no more Hunger Games for me to be in. Hey, how about Saw? Let me get in Saw. If you can add a little comedy into Saw, I think it could go a long way. And to my surprise, next thing I know, a few weeks later, I get a call from Lionsgate about having a meeting about the fun, the Saw with a sprinkling of humor. And next thing I know, we're making it. So here we are.
Funny story about one of your co-stars, Sam Jackson. I've interviewed him a couple of times, and I asked him a couple of interviews ago, I said, is there a genre? I said, you've done everything, but is there a genre you still want to do? And he kind of looked around, how he looks around, he does this. Then he zeroed in on me and he goes,
this is sort of a scary movie, not as scary as I'd like. I'd like to do a proper slasher movie. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
There you go.
No spoilers on that one, but tell me what it was like for you two to be working together. You both are just incredible at what you do. What was that experience?
You know what?
Like?
It's weird. Like, it's almost, I almost wish I could get the first day we shot, get that one and shoot it over, because I was in such awe of Sam, and it's not like I never met him before, but I hadn't worked with him. And it's like, wait a minute, the guy from Pulp Fiction's yelling at me. Wait a minute.
Dude,
where's his Jerry curl? He's so good. Like, I don't know, just something about when you see Sam Jackson in a movie, it's going to be good. It's, he's so believable in any part he plays. I mean, I had a great time with him.
Brand new Saw movie. It's people have seen the trailers, including myself. You just get excited. The anticipation is there. You're in it. So your first thought when you found out that, number one, there was going to be another Saw movie. Number two, you're in it.
So that's sort of all I knew. That was the call. Like, they're making a Saw movie. Chris thinks there's a part in it that you might be right for. I didn't know anything about the movie. I had no idea what the story was going to be. I had no idea what the role was. I kind of anticipated I would be, a pizza delivery boy or something. So there were a lot of pleasant surprises reading the script for the first time. One, that it was going to be a meaningful role and I was going to get to work with Chris in a such proximity. He's one of my heroes, so that was really cool. And then the second aspect was the fact that the movie had this kind of buddy cop element to it, which is specifically exciting to me because I grew up obsessed with 48 Hours and Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, these were like religious experiences to me. So to get to work with Chris and then in this capacity and then introducing the Saw element, it's all too good to be true.
Welcome back to the world of Saw. What pulled you back in?
Chris Rock and Samuel Jackson. That's what pulled me back in. No, I guess I've learned an important life lesson, which is never say never. Leaving Saw 4, I was like, that's it. Because to me, I thought I had done it all. I was like, I've done 3 Saw movies. I've killed a lot of people. What else is there to do? And then a few years back when they called me and then they pitched me this idea and they said, with Chris Rock. And I'm like, a Chris Rock Saw movie? Are you fucking kidding? I'm sorry for the language. You can beep that out. As a Saw fan, want to see that movie. The movie geek in me, I had to say yes, because first off, I am a huge fan of his comedy. And then to be able to see him in this universe that I helped kind of steer and create, how could I say no to that?
Saw this with my mom yesterday. She loves scary movies. I'm terrified. For me, it's like getting on a roller coaster. You know, that anticipation you get. You're afraid of them. I'm genuinely afraid of these. Mom is just, really, she loves it. So what does your mom think about you being in this role?
Oh my God. My mother, it's weird. Well, the question is, will my mother see this movie? And she'll see it kind of like this, That's what I anticipate.
Which is exactly what I was doing. I was kind of doing. I was doing that same thing. There are a few humor elements to it, but it is that kind of horror genre. How different was this for you as a performer to do this role?
I mean, I looked at it like it's like 48 Hours. Like Eddie Murphy, like 48 Hours is a real tough, grimy movie. And somehow Eddie Murphy's funny in it. And I tried to kind of do that here. I thought you could do it. And I think we pulled it off. It's not, there's humor in it, but it's not a comedy. You know what I mean? It's not scary movie, but I think we pulled it off.
You talking about working with Chris. This is a different role. I've never seen him, anything like this. I know him as the funny guy, of course, the commercials that he does. He's a funny guy. Were there times when you were filming that you looked at him, this is a serious thriller. Did you just want to bust out laughing?
I think he's funny in the movie, I think it's a dramatic role, sure. And like the film has real stakes to it. But I think it also, like those movies I was just referencing, I think the movie has a sense of humor and it's not self-serious at all. Like, I think probably the thing that I'm most proud of is how unpretentious the movie is. I don't like movies that pat themselves on the back and think they're too good for everybody. I like that this is a very accessible story and it's made for an audience, and a mass audience. It's not made for some hoity-toity people. So I think that it has like a lot of stuff going on, especially for Chris's character, and he has a lot of room to be funny and stressed out and in control and out of control, and it's a really dynamic character. I think he does an amazing job at it.
It's one of the most anticipated movies of the year, and that's why when I've been able to tell people, yeah, this is what I did, this is what I saw, and it's freaking awesome. When you got the script, though, and be honest with me, did you go, hey, I wonder how this thing ends? Like, before you dived into it, did you go to the end, like, I wanted to see how this thing ends? Did you do that?
There were two things I wanted. Do I have a scene with Samuel Jackson? Am I in a trap? Those were the two things I had to see. Then I'll go back, then I'll read the script and I'll do the story. But just as a fan, I was like, I need to know those two things.
What was it like to work with this cast? It's incredible. You included, you mentioned Sam Jackson, Chris Rock, but tell me what it was like to work with everybody.
With Chris, it was phenomenal. I was sort of thrown in, that first scene in the movie where you see me bawling him out. That's the first scene I shot. So I was like, okay, here we go. Let's go. So that was really fun. And then there originally was not a scene in the movie with me and Sam. And then there was one added. And so I was very, very happy about that. And I was sort of like, okay, keep your cool. That's Sam Jackson. He's really tall. Okay, keep your cool. Don't don't mess up your lines, that kind of thing. It's hard. You play it cool, but you're like, that's Samuel, fucking Jackson up there. So it was amazing.
Do you like scary movies? I'm going to tell you right now, Max, I'm a scaredy cat. So I get nervous when I know I'm going to go see a scary film. I do. I was nervous for this one. After it is like, I was like, oh, okay, I got through it. Are you a scary film fan?
I like all movies. I do love scary movies because I think that we put ourselves, especially like with the traps in Saw, right? We put ourselves in the position of the character and we like to wonder, what would we do? Like, how would we handle these situations? And I think the cinematic experience more often than not is about reflection, right? And so there's something very pure about horror movies because of that. So yes, I'm a fan, to answer your question.
Okay.
To me, you have to watch a scary movie in a theater. I remember seeing Ring, and Seven, and all of these, Silence of the Lambs, all of these, right? I love a good scary movie, like love. It's like a roller coaster ride for me. So I'm so excited to be a part of this series and it's so honored. I can't wait.
Did you go back and watch any of the older? I know this is, it stands on its own. It's a credible story.
Exactly.
But did you go back and watch any of the Saw movies previous to get ready?
I didn't. I kind of have found throughout my career, I've sort of been thrown in these situations where something is like 24 had been on forever when I joined and I had never seen it. And so I was like, well, I don't really want to watch it now because I kind of want to do my own thing. And, Vegas Vacation or whatever. I was like, well, I kind of want to do my own thing. So no, I didn't. I'd already seen the first Saw movie. I was familiar with the franchise. But this was just sort of so set on its own. Believe it or not, I watched 7 again to get into that mindset because to me the script read like that.
Have you always liked scaring people? Because even just not outside of the Saw movies, everything you do has, I picture you as a young kid going around just scaring people. And I knew I wanted to ask you that the second I left the movie yesterday. I was like, yeah, always.
Yeah, what's funny is I remember one of my earliest memories as a kid was I lived in Kansas and we had a basement, and there's no basements in California, but in Kansas we had a basement. And I would always make haunted houses through September all the way through November that I would charge the neighborhood kids to come in. And I had I used my dad's power tools. So things would move around and so yeah, ever since I was a kid. And, in the last 5 years, what's been insane is not only can I scare people in the movies, but I also scare people in real life. I've got these kind of immersive haunted house experiences that I do in Los Angeles, the Tension Experience, that are insane, very intense. Like imagine if you could live a Saw movie, and I do that in LA, which is like a dream come true to me. So I get to put scary images on screen and in real life for people.
Well, you absolutely did this, and I want to check that out in person. Maybe if we can do it this fall, God willing, I want to check that out. Last question for you: the movie's finally here, and given the challenges that we've had in the world, I don't have to tell you over the past year or so, how excited are you as a director and most anticipated film that it is going to theaters and people will see this on a big screen?
Yeah, I mean, it was so devastating, I think, for all of us when the movie got pushed. Dealing with a lot of emotions, obviously, because you have this huge world-changing event that takes place. And so there was part of me that was just absolutely devastated, but there's something much more important, and that's the safety of moviegoers. So I was anxiously counting down the days until, there would be brighter days, a light at the end of the tunnel. And I think we're finally here. People are getting vaccinated. People are starting to, I went to the cinema for the first time 2 weeks ago and saw nobody. And it was this cathartic, release, going in that massive theater, smelling popcorn, hearing murmuring. I've never thought I would be more excited to see people on their cell phones in a movie theater. I was like, go ahead and use your phone, dude. It's totally okay. I'm back in a movie theater. So I'm excited. I'm excited that people can actually see this, and it's going to be on IMAX screens as well. So you get to see that killing big in huge surround sound around you. I'm excited.
This was my birthday present. I saw this yesterday on my birthday. So I had popcorn.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, brother. And I know what you're talking about. Thanks for your time, dude. This movie's so freaking cool, brother.
I appreciate it.
Hello, Detective Banks. When was the last time you saw your father